Welcome to the StormchaserQ show. I am meteorologist Quincy Vagel, and I want to tell you about myself, where I've come from, where I'm going, and then the whole purpose of this show. So I'm a meteorologist. I'm interested in severe weather, storm chasing. I enjoy photography, but really all types of weather fascinate me, and I want to share that with you all. So whether it's my storm chasing stories, advice, weather forecasts, answering questions, this show is going to be a little bit of everything. But unlike a typical podcast, I'm not going to go on for an hour or 2 hours. I want to do short 5 to 10 minute clips, and I could vary depending on the topic, but I want to keep it short and sweet. And then I want this to be all about you. So anything that interests you, anything you like or dislike, please let me know. But my history is I got interested in weather from a very young age. By 5 or 6, I was very fascinated by weather. I grew up in Connecticut, so we had a variety of weather, but it was really winter storms and snowstorms that really caught my attention. I do vaguely remember Hurricane Bob when I was 4 years old in 1991, moving into the area, and then it was the superstorm of 1993, which is one of my first weather memories. Now, looking back at school, it was as early as second grade that I was using the word meteorologist. I wanted to become a meteorologist, and in some of my early early journal entries, I was talking about weather. I was writing about wind chill, writing about hurricanes when I was 7 years old, so I knew from the start that I wanted to study weather. But what did I want to do with that? I wasn't really sure. In high school, I thought, okay, maybe I want to work for the National Weather Service. I was an avid reader of their forecast discussions. I gave snowfall and storm reports to the National Weather Service. But then in college, as I did some more online broadcasting, I decided maybe I want to work in TV. So I went to Western Connecticut State University, and I finished a degree in meteorology in 2009. Now, within a couple of years, I had my first full-time weather job working at WTNH-TV in New Haven, Connecticut. I originally was brought on to help them launch their Weather Edge website, but I eventually worked my way up to become a weather producer, where I helped produce weather broadcasts and even did a few on-air segments on TV. They were short, but it gave me my first taste of being on TV. But it was in the spring of 2014 when I was at a turning point in my career. I'd been with the station for almost 3 years, and I decided that if I wanted to be on TV, I really needed more experience in a smaller market or a smaller television station. So my plan was I wanted to travel the Midwest, find a good spot, and that also give me my first ability to storm chase. Now, in 2013, I took a couple of overnight drives from Connecticut into the Midwest to storm chase, but let's be honest, I had no clue what I was doing. But in the spring of 2014, with my schedule cleared up, I was able to storm chase off and on, late April, May, and then most of June, and I think maybe into a little bit of July. Storm chasing, just figuring it out. I had my first true tornado outbreak June 16th, 18th, 2014, where I saw at least 7 tornadoes over the span of 3 days. It was really a turning point where I went from earlier in the year, not really knowing what I was doing, to becoming a more experienced storm chaser, getting up close to tornadoes, knowing how supercell storms formed. It just really drilled me in. But that summer, as I was looking for jobs, I had an offer to be a meteorologist at WREX-TV in Rockford, Illinois, just outside Chicago. They had lost their chief meteorologist and they had lost another meteorologist, so they literally flew me out, and I worked there for about a month, and it was a great learning experience. But as I was there, I decided I don't know if TV's for me. Storm chasing, being out in the field is great, but being on a confined set on a television station, not sure if that's the right fit. So 2015, I took off some more time and did a lot more storm chasing. And the more I storm chased, the more and more I wanted to do it. Now, in the summer of 2015, I was in talks with the Weather Channel, which at the time I thought was a real long shot. I'd had several interviews, didn't hear back from almost a month, and then just one day I found out I was hired. So at the Weather Channel, I worked on their website, weather.com. I was not an on-air meteorologist there, but I was there at weather.com for about a year. I made some great networking, great connections. I learned more about how they work with storm chasers to get storm footage. But the longer I was there, the more I was longing to be out in the field. So in spring 2016, I made a very bold, brash move. I decided I'm going to leave the Weather Channel. I'm going to leave the East Coast, where I've lived my entire life, and just move out to Oklahoma. And I spent most of April, May, June, July, and even August just storm chasing all over the country, even went to Canada for the first time, and I decided this is what I want to do. I want to be out on the road. I want to be in the plains. So I officially moved to Oklahoma City in the summer of 2016, and I've been here ever since. Now, since 2016, my storm chasing has been mainly during the months of May and June, although I've storm chased in every month of the year. And I'm trying to make a name for myself. So I'm getting more into photography. I've always enjoyed photography, but it was in 2016 when I sold my first storm footage. Dodge City, Kansas, a historical tornado outbreak. I was able to get up close and personal to tornadoes and made my first video sales while storm chasing. Now I will say, I've not made a lot of money storm chasing. It's not as glamorous as you might think. Not everyone's a retimmer, so it's not enough money to make a living. So my hopes with this show and with branding myself is to just put myself out there. I do sell photos and videos, so if you're interested, please contact me. But it's really storm chasing is what it's all about. And I'm not involved just to make money. If anything, it's more of a passion than the money. That's why I make the sacrifice. I drive tens of thousands of miles a year. In 2016, I drove over 90,000 miles. So when I storm chase, I'm all driving. I don't fly. I don't usually carpool. It's just me driving. So on an average year, I probably drive about 50 or 60,000 miles because I will travel all across the country to find storms wherever they are. But as I go along, I want to share more with the community. So I want to share my perspectives. I want to get interested, or I want to get involved in some of those more interesting discussions, whether it be storm chaser safety, traffic while storm chasing. There have been a lot of stories this year about storm chasers getting in accidents or tour vans flipping, lots of different things. But it's not just about like severe weather. I have a lot of weather experience from winter storms to hurricanes, obviously to, I did, I don't know if you call it storm chasing, but when we had a bad drought last year in Oklahoma in 2018, I did some chasing of fire, brush fires, wildfires. That was interesting. That was a different perspective. It's not something I'd want to do full time, but the point is that I have a wide variety of weather experience and lots of things that interest me. So I want to share that. So even when it's not storm season, so peak storm season really in the plains is May and June. But aside from that, I want to talk about weather year round. I want to answer questions. So you can ask me anything, and I mean really anything, and that's what I want this show to be all about, is having short segments, hopefully under 10 minutes, I won't ramble too much, answer your questions, talk about topics that interest me, talk about maybe some research I'm doing, behind the scenes storm chasing. The possibilities are really endless, and it's all going to come back to you. So you'll tell me what you like, what you don't like, what you want to see more of, and hopefully I'll cater to that. So again, this is meteorologist Quincy Vega with the StormchaserQ show. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for a lot of new content coming up.